Okay, I'm going to do a drawing of this bird of paradise outside the house. Normally I'm traveling long distances to find these birds of paradise in tropical places, but it's right here. So anyway, I'm just freely drawing. I would have you doing it with a pencil first. The only reason I'm doing this is because hopefully the camera can see it. So I'm basically doing a contour drawing. I'm not trying to make it exact. I am going to teach you contour drawing as part of this class very slowly in one lesson. But right now I'm just drawing the bird of paradise. And flowers are so wonderfully forgiving. There's a nice wasp on there right now, flying away. That, you know, if I don't get every detail correct, it won't matter. What I am trying to do, since I'm using a pen, is get what is on top and things that are underneath, so I'm not crossing lines on top of where they shouldn't be. So now this is a pretty leafy bird of paradise, so I am the artist of this composition, so I'm going to decide what I put in, what I keep out right now, and what details I even want to put in. So I'm seeing some lines on that leaf down there. I'm going to put that in. Oh, this little wasp is really close to me here. And this part of the leaf gets a little pointier. I am going to put color on this because they're just so beautiful that there are some pointed edges here. Okay, I'm going to draw some of these other leaves. Now there's some bird of paradise coming right at me. Whenever something comes directly at you, it's very difficult to draw because there's foreshortening in it. There's a bird of paradise up there, and I see a part of the plant I don't normally see. So I'm going to cheat and put it in a spot that is not exactly where it is in real life, but that doesn't matter. When I'm sketching in my journal, my travel journal, it's about, you know, drawing the details that give you a memory of place and what you're seeing. It kind of slows you down, notices, it makes you really pay attention to the details that you don't normally see if you're just moving past something. So that's what I love about journal sketching. And it just, you know, you're having to take the time out. Sometimes you can do it while you're moving. Depends if you're with a tour, it's very difficult. But sometimes what I'll do is I'll get a pencil and I'll just do some rough sketches if I'm carrying my book with me. And then when I go back to the hotel or wherever you might be staying, I will then pull out my camera where I've taken the pictures and work off of that. Which is very fun to do. So these birds of paradise are so funny. They're like beaks with things coming out of them. They're beautiful. They're really beautiful. And then these leaves are they fold. They fold. So let's see if I can capture that. I'm going to do it right here. And then this part that comes around, it's a little jaggy on the edge there. So let me capture that. Now the nice part about when you do use pencil is you can, you know, change it up much more easily than when you use a pen. And then you can go over it in pen. So it looks good and it has a more defined presence on the page. So here's some more of these leaves. So I guess I'm having them come out the side of my page here, just like it does on the side of the house. So it's quite lovely. They really are. It's really quite a nice plant. And I wanted to draw it before because it's been in bloom for a while now. So I don't know how long the flowering part will last. They're starting to go. So I wanted to capture it. Let's see. I don't want to want to put too much. I just want enough to add some detail. Okay, there's an interesting leaf right here I'm going to do. I hope you can see it in the shadow of my hat here on the page. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm trying to get this open area here, trying to capture that shape of it. And then I see the back side of the leaf there. And now I'm using a pen because I like the point on it, and I think if I remember correctly, it's not permanent. So the nice part about that is I can wet it with a brush and it'll give me like either a blue or a certain gray wash right around the edges, which is quite lovely. So I'm going to play with that in this drawing, and then you'll get to see it. See, this is what I was trying to avoid, is having this line go through something, but that's okay. You know, these are just journal sketches. They're really for you. I mean, if you want to share them, you can, but you know, they're really your private memories. Sometimes they get so handsome with, you know, adding color, gluing some special things in that you find along the way, that it's just fun, and people like looking at them. And I like looking at them after a trip. So they're I don't know, there's something about them, they're even better than a photo album. It has personality, and it's your impression. Like, I'm capturing this plant the way I want to capture it, and to make it sort of interesting. So there's some lilac, not lilac, what is this called? I don't know. I'm not good about my leaves and my plants. Oh, it smells so, it is lilac, yeah. Oh, it smells fantastic. I wish I could capture the smell on the page. Oh, the detail right here of this bird of paradise, the blue part that comes out of the plant is just so lovely. Okay, so I've done that. Maybe I will try to do some, I don't think I took any water with me. Not good. So this is a paint set I love for travel. Let's see if I can get it open. Because if I was smart, I would have had water in here, but there isn't, because you can carry water in here. And here are my paints and my palettes, and that I can use. So I'm going to stop the video here, and then I can continue it. I brought my coffee. This is right outside my house, so I'm having my coffee while I draw. Maybe a little later, I'll do some drawing with a glass of wine. When I travel, I love sitting at a cafe. And in the morning and the afternoon, it's coffee, and in the evening, it can be a glass of wine. And I can draw what I see around me. So I just love that. So, okay, I'm going to stop this now, if I can find my clicker. And, okay, now I have my Pentel paintbrush that I use for travel. It has water in its well, it has a cap, and I put it on the back there. And then I have my little travel kit. I have a few ways I take paints when I travel. I'll talk more about that in some other videos. But right now, I want to get the green leaves and get some color on here, get that orange going. So I'm just working with what I have. Not too clean here. I have a paper towel so I can clean things and dry my brush. How wet the brush is very important. Sometimes you want to work very dry, sometimes you want to work very wet. I am going to try to capture, now this leaf here has pink in it. Let's see what my white is on here. Over here it's white. I don't have it out right now, but I usually take a little squirt of a wash white as my white. So I'm going to put some of this white in here so I can take the red and get a pink. But that red is so strong that I need very little of it on the tip of my brush to have it go pink. Which it's doing. bright on the flower. It's beautiful, actually. This is pretty wet. I might need it to be drier. These brushes, if you come up high on the tip, you will get a nice thin line. So remember that from the lesson on using materials, and when we did our colors and our line. If you come up on the brush, you'll get a very thin line if that's what you want. So when this dries here, if I want to get some thin lines on there, some other colors, when that dries, I'm going to try to get a little purple in there. So now I'm going to try to get these, I'm putting yellow. Now, the pen I used is not really, it's being very permanent. So I have some pens I use intentionally to create some blue washes right into the drawing. And I'll show you that in other drawings, in future drawings. So, so now I'm putting my red right into the yellow. It's wet. So I'm getting a nice orange. I don't know if the shadow is helping you see this or if it's making it worse. So it's giving me the orange I want. And then I could put a little more yellow for the yellow. Now, the one nice thing about the black line is if I go outside the line, it doesn't matter because it's being defined. And there's something nice about the looseness of that if you do go outside the line. Now, some of that blue, because of the way I drew this, those blue parts aren't really happening. I'm going to add some more into this, and then I will, when it dries, go back and put my black line because I just love the blue parts in the Bird of Paradise. So, you know, and this is where I'm making it up. But the color adds some drama. It adds another element to it that I like. And so there's a red area here that bends around. Didn't really capture it. Now there's a little too much paint on there, but it's okay. And I'm gonna get this leaf in a yellow orange, another yellow orange here, and I kind of was picking up the red that was there. So hopefully you can see in the shadow there's some more yellow leaves here. Okay, and now I'm going to make, well, while I'm still in the yellow-oranges, why don't I do all of the Bird of Paradise that I am defining here. Just these little touches of red. That's quite nice. So, here we go. That's blue. That's why I wanted to add this, was this blue part right here, just such an unusual shape. I wanted to capture that. So I don't want to put too much color right here, it's thin, so I'm using the tip of my brush, and of course, like I said, go outside of it a little bit, it's just fine. Most of this is sort of the orangey red. I'll try to capture that. There we go. There is this great red, let's see if I can capture it. It comes out of here and it goes around like this. And it actually is that kind of red. And it goes around, and then there's some more orange leaves coming out of that. Let's see if I can capture that. Let's see. Oops. I could tell there was too much paint. I wasn't going to get the point I wanted on that brush. And then if you press down, you can go from a point to a larger surface, you know, just so depending on what you want to do, and you can play with that. So, you know, pressing down, picking your brush up. The oranges, they're going in a few different ways down there. I may define this after with, I probably will, to keep it consistent with the rest of the drawing, put a black line into it to define what I'm doing over there. So when it dries, I can do a little bit more that I want to do. So this, get a little more orange. Oops, that's too red. I'm having to blend my colors in this paint palette because it doesn't have everything. So I blend as I go. So that's where when we do our color work, hopefully you'll get comfortable and you can blend right on your pieces. Or you can have a piece of paper sitting nearby, and I can do that too in some other lessons, and show you so that you are you have that to practice right before you put the color onto the paper. Now these leaves are very beautiful. I don't know if I'm going to be able to capture them, but they have like, it's like a green yellow, and so I'm going to move this because I want to use this piece of paper right now to blot it because it was just too, okay, so there is a yellow. Yellow, these leaves get a little bit yellow-green. So I'm going to put some yellow down. I'm just going to get some yellow in there. Just some, in this one, it's not really quite it's a yellow-green. There we go. I have to get more green on these leaves. But, doing the journal, like I paint in my studio, but when I travel doing these, there's something meditative, there's something calming about it, more than what I do in my studio when I'm working. That's more active, and this is about getting quiet and just really observing what you see, translating it in your way, and which is fun. And oh, this has some brown in it, and blue on top of it. Okay, and then I can mix colors off to the side there. Okay, so let me see what I'm going to do here. I'm trying to keep my hand out of the way so you can see. Oh, let's see, where was I? So in here it was dark. It was dark. It's dark inside. So it's like noticing these little nuances. You just don't notice, like when you're walking by. If you don't sit down and really look, you just don't see it. So let's see, I'm going to make it a little darker. There's some shadow in there. And I'm not trying to be realistic, but I'm just trying to capture what I see for the experience of the plant that I'm having. Let's get some colors here. Alright, let's see what's happening here. Now here's another thing you can do. I'm adding some color here, and I'm going to put some water down and then fill it. So putting a good amount. So let's see. Still want to have control. So if you make a puddle of water on your piece and then you put some color in it, it will stop at the edges. It doesn't go beyond that, which is very cool. So you can add color and it'll stay, it won't go beyond that puddle edge. Does that make sense? Which is really sort of fun. And get a little yellow in there because I see yellow. Now, of course, if you add too much water, it could. You know, I'm adding to it now. I'm not sure. And here it's not a puddle edge, I'm just kind of working it. So it'll go down wherever I touch. Now, watercolor is very absorbent, so it stains the paper. It's not as forgiving as acrylic, where you can just paint over it. I'm doing a flower painting right now, and I want to make a lot of changes, and I'll be able to. Watercolor is a little less forgiving once you lay it down on the paper. So that's why I do suggest starting with pencil and getting things where you want it. So, and I'm just playing with greens to make it more interesting. Those leaves. Right here, it still has a purple feeling to it over there, but I have to get in there. Okay, and then this actually has, it's more a yellow green, but of course no one's going to know that whether I do that the way it is or not, but add any white to it, because it does go lighter right there. Maybe I'll leave some white there showing. And let's see, it's a little light right here, that part of it, this part of it. Let's see, what leaf am I going to look at to draw this one? Okay, now I'm going to pick up some darker green to put some ridges in that I see here in the leaves. Then I can put a little wash over it, and those will stay. And then there's some thinner ones on the other side. So I really let what I'm looking at sort of help guide me. The ridges in the leaves, you want to go in the same direction, because that's going to make it look better on your drawing, because you know you are doing it somewhat indicative of what the plant's doing, so that you capture that. So I put some blue on there, but because I had green, it went to a blue-green, which is quite pretty. So, I need this crazy leaf down here. Dark inside there, so let me make it. I have some black here. Now I normally don't like to use black as my darkening agent. I prefer to use like a blue or a purple, but my palette here is a little bit limited. So, and the black did do it in a nice way. So, I'm going to use it. And I'm going to see while I have this on my brush if there's anywhere else I can put this dark green that would, yeah, I could put it right in here somewhere. This leaf is turned. I don't know if I'm going to capture that so much, but because of it, it's dark in there. Let's see. I haven't done too many folded leaves. This one is a little bit folded in here, so I'll let it get a little darker inside. Too dark. There we go. And sometimes less is more. So you just put a little touch of color opposed to a lot of color. You don't have to finish it. Maybe I'll just put a wash on this, like just a little bit. Not even finish that leaf. Maybe I'll just put a little green down there. And as a suggestion, I'm going to have this flow into that. There we go. Yeah, because it can be your artful expression. So, I actually feel like this needs something. I may have overworked all that. This one I think would be nice if it had a little more white in it. But let's see, I can put white from the paint, but that's not the same as the white as the page when you use the white. But I'm going to see what that looks like. Here. Okay. Alright, now I need to get my blues in there. Blues are so pretty. It's really a blue purple. That's more a little turquoisey. But let's see if I can pick up a turquoise. There really isn't. So, but there is a red here that'll turn it a little more purple. So I wanted too purple. Just a little hint. Okay. And then there was an area on here that had some, I guess I should do it in red. They're just these thin lines. So I'm hardly touching down with this to give it the little red dashes that it had on there. There's actually some lighter areas down here too. Being a little, since I have the time. Sometimes when I'm traveling, you don't have the time. Or I wanted to get 3 or 4 drawings done in the evening that I have. Now, I don't have with me right now my jelly pens. Those add, I usually carry a white jelly pen. They add a lot of detail, which is really nice. My fine point black pens and my jelly pens. I'll show you that in another drawing, or maybe if I touch these up later. So, a little more white. I hope the camera's catching us. I hope so. But now I covered up the red. That was so special there. So, you can overdo it. I don't want to, but sometimes you can. Let's see, I'm going to put a little blue in here. There's an artist by the name of Wayne Thiebaud. He's a California artist. And he has a whole, he calls it the shadow pour. And he doesn't like to use much black. He always uses color in his shadow. And that really does make it special. And I really do like that. So I think when you get brave, like I'm going to do right now, I'm adding a little red in here. Now, not that this is shadow, but just for interest. Just let's make it different. You know, let's make it, you know, ours. You know, something that's just a little bit more mine. Now, on this part of the Bird of Paradise, there is red and orange and yellow. So there is, and then there's some uneven stuff in here. There's some red that comes around this thing here, and then there was some purple. Let's see if I can get that purple. There was some. They almost look brown, but I'm going to make them more like purple. These little. Hard to see it. Oh, I'm having fun just doing this. Okay. Oh, I see the green leaf. Oops. It really just wraps around that. So I think I'm going to stop here. I might find I want to add some darker darks in some spots, maybe to add interest in my own style to make it up. You know, and you can always work on a drawing after the fact. You know, then you don't want it, you could write around it. You could write around here, do all kinds of things. So, there's an interesting, it's not on this leaf, but it's really interesting on this other leaf. It has this white area, so I'm going to put it on this leaf. And I'll then super define it with my jelly pen after. Alright, I think I'm going to stop here. This also is quite white, but the jelly pen will be better at defining. But that is more or less what I'm going to do on this bird of paradise for right now. And I might put some more lines in it. We'll leave it alone. That one really had many more orange leaves than I gave it. Let's see, why don't I put one or two? I'm having so much fun drawing, I don't want to stop. That's what's happening now. But there's a lot in that plant, just a lot. So, and some of these have unusual shapes. Okay. All right.